So good evening, my lovelies. Joining me on the mat wherever you're most comfortable, lying down or seated. And relaxing from your day. Whether you've been busy, whether it's one of your busier days of the week. Sometimes it doesn't have to be physically busy, we can be really mentally busy at times, and that can be quite tiring. So however you feel, let's just settle. Look forward to coming on our mats into this me time space. There's always something to look forward to when you come to your mat, whether it's a morning practice or an evening practice. It's like sort of coming into your own little sanctuary. Even if you were to take a whole hour just to lie down or sit and breathe, it's really wonderful me time. So however you're positioned, just have a moment to root yourself. Send your energetic roots down into Mother Earth. And just notice how you feel when you consciously acknowledge that connection. Connecting with Mother Earth, and if you wish, you can open up through the chakra channel and up into Father Heavens, and having that lovely connection to both energies. So with each breath, just using the exhale to relax a bit more and notice how you're feeling. If there's certain areas of the body that are tight, maybe you can just notice sort of a little bit more tension around the neck or in the face. Checking through all the major joints, so hips and knees, and through your back and shoulders. And just acknowledging what you feel. So shortly we'll come up into Zazen. If you're lying down, just hug your knees in gently. There's no rush to move, just enjoy a few moments rocking on your back. And if you're seated and you want to just have a lovely roll and stretch of the shoulders, and maybe just take the chin down and rock the head round. And then gently you can come up into a seated position on your moon cushions or meditation cushions, whatever feels right for you. So this evening we're just going to have 5 minutes of silence. It's really rare that people give themselves either 5 or 10 minutes. If you can get 10 minutes into a day of complete silence, just giving yourself that time. But I think it's quite rare. There's always something to distract us unless we really do put the time aside. So we often just take 5 minutes, so we'll take the 5 and just come into silence. Every now and then I'll just sort of prompt you and draw your mind back to perhaps your breath or the present moment, but other than that, we'll take 5 minutes and we'll notice whether 5 minutes feels like 10 or whether it feels like 2, because time can be so subjective depending how we're feeling and what we're thinking. So just resting your hands. Try not to doze off, because when we're not doing anything, then our head can sometimes drop and the mind will sort of start switching off. So just trying to be kind of aware and alert, but quiet. So let's close our eyes. Relaxing. And just beginning with following your breath. softening your face. Maybe you're aware of your thoughts, but really stay connected to your breath. Notice if the mind is wandering and just come back to the breath. Noticing if you can be aware of the gap between your thoughts. So when you're ready, just observing whether that felt like 5 minutes or whether it felt longer or shorter in any way, how you're feeling now. So joining me, we're going to take dragonfly first. So bringing legs wide, opening up through the hips. If you need something under knees, you can pop something, a rolled blanket there, or even just a small blanket sort of just behind the edge of the buttocks. Sometimes encourages a nice little tilt of the pelvis, but allowing your legs just to be comfortably wide apart. And then we'll come into this gentle forward fold gradually. Take a moment just to notice the posture that you're in and kind of where your arms are, how far you are away from the mat, and then Usually after 5 minutes you might notice a little change after all the softening. Try to relax your legs. Notice if there's a tension or there's a tendency to point your toes. And always enjoy using the breath, allowing the body to soften through the upper body and arms. Breathing to your belly. And as you explore this stretch, maybe you can sense one side, feeling it a little bit more than the other. Which side feels deeper? Can you relax your face and neck? And keep checking through where any tension starts to come back into the body. Notice if there's any softening and you can move a bit further into the pose. And noticing what your thoughts are, what's going through your mind. And not only just noticing your thoughts, being aware if you're in the present, or whether the thoughts were the past or the future. So let's just take one more lovely breath here. Slowly lifting up. Feeling that lovely release through the backs of our legs, perhaps the inner parts of our legs as well. And then we'll take Shavasana. If you've got a block handy, you can just bring it nearby because we're going to come into supported bridge next. But have a lie down first and just feel whatever you feel from dragonfly. Lovely sigh. And just maybe rock the pelvis or wag your tail. Just find your neutral spine. Relaxing your hands and wrists. And then as you let your chin tuck in gently, you might find the rest of your back kind of softens bit by bit. As we relax the back, we can also notice if we're really relaxing around the chest and the muscles in the abdomen and front of the body. And then when you're ready, let's bring our knees into chest, have a lovely rock. Enjoy how this feels through the back of your body. Lift your head if you want to, a bit more of a stretch through the back. And just feeling all that ease gently. So coming into supported bridge now. Either the block on the highest height or the second height down. Choosing how you want to come into this, but coming onto tiptoes, lifting the body, and then placing that block not on the lumbar, but the sacral part of your body, sacrum, that flat part that you'll feel just sort of almost in line with the top of the buttocks. Have a few moments just to keep adjusting and find the place where you can be most comfortable. And then letting the arms relax, legs. You might find that there's tension in the inner thighs, just relaxing the knees. And then softening through the shoulders and neck. Quite often you might find them kind of creeping up towards the ears. If this top height is too high for you, you can always lower it and find a bit more comfort. So notice if you're clenching your buttocks. And just keep coming round to all these areas. Shoulders, buttocks, thighs. And then when you finally feel like you're settling, you can bring your awareness to your breath. Keep checking in with your neck. Soften your jaw and your face. Notice if your upper arms become tense in any way. This is a lovely pose for root, sacral, solar plexus, but also heart and throat chakra. Just witness your thoughts. Do you like this pose? Just enjoy following the rise and fall of the belly and the chest. And then gently we'll just take another breath here. Slowly lifting your body away, so coming onto the toes maybe. Lifting, taking that block to the side and coming down. And again, just taking a moment to find your spine in that nice neutral shape and let everything realign. How does that feel, especially afterwards? Sometimes the pose can be a strange feeling, but the after effect, nice and juicy. And also being aware of whether you feel any movement of chi, temperature shift, or a lovely buzziness around the lower spine and the pelvis area. Being curious as to whether you feel something else emotionally rather than just physically. So when you're ready, take your time and draw your knees in. Take a little bit longer here if you need to. Rocking on the lumbar spine, especially after bridge. Just relieve anything that could be a bit tender. Enjoying, really being connected to your body, slowing down, observing. And then when you're ready, let's roll up. So we're going to come into butterfly now. Having been in dragonfly, we've kind of opened a little bit through the hips. And just coming into this posture, gently bending the knees. You can always alter whether you want your feet further away or more drawn into the body. So just find your sort of perfect spot with this one. And if you need support with the thighs, you can do. So again, gently folding the body forwards, being aware of how the lumbar spine feels after bridge. And don't have to take this too deeply. We can just kind of lean into this and explore where the body wants to go. Notice your breath. Notice where you're holding tension. How do your hips feel? A slightly different position and rotation of the hips in this posture from dragonfly. And just being aware of new sensations that you notice. Awareness of your breath and how it feels in this posture. Whether it's easy to breathe or it feels constricted. Noticing if you're in the present moment. Just taking another scan through your body, just aware of if you're still holding even a small amount of tension in the legs, upper body. And then one more breath. Slowly lifting up, aware of your hips and your back. And then neutral spine. Looking forward to what you might feel this time. How different it might feel from your dragonfly pose. How long does it take to relax fully? 2 breaths, 5 breaths. And again, just witnessing your thoughts as you have this quiet time. Even though we come into poses and then come into neutral spine, it's all could be a meditation. So from here, we're going to just bring the knees in. Enjoy a nice little cuddle, a self-cuddle. And then we're going to come into banana. So when you're ready, just extend your legs down again. We'll bring everything over towards the right side. So let's begin with feet gently to the right lower corner, and then right foot over the left is the softer version. If you've got hip issues, depending on which one it is, just being a little bit more gentle that side. And then if you can, just bring your shoulders and upper body over to the top right. And just test it out. If you've come too far into this, you can always just bring your upper body back into sort of the central position and just move the legs. So just play with this pose. You don't have to be extreme in it. You can just feel a very gentle sensation to the side of your body. So just meeting yourself where you are, not overexerting. Satya and ahimsa, truth and non-harm, so not stealing energy for later on as well. Asteya. And then relaxing. Find if there's tension in the belly and the sides of your waist, sometimes your buttocks. Breathing to belly. And noticing which part or side of your chest moves more. How do you feel? Just check through to see if you're relaxed in your lower back and the sides of your waist. Notice if you're tight through the neck and the back of the head. If you close your eyes, if you haven't already, maybe you can really focus on your breath. If you wish, you can move more into this pose. If it's sort of started getting easy, allow the stretch to develop a bit more. You can cross up, swap your feet. That will stretch you a little bit more as well. Stretching towards our right side stimulates Ida, the left side, our feminine energy. The yin energy. So when you're ready, just taking one more conscious breath. And then finding your way back into neutral spine. So legs back to center, shoulders in alignment. Have a moment, rock your pelvis, just find the natural neutral shape. And just feel whatever you feel. Where do you feel any sensation in the legs? Often inner legs, but sometimes outer, around your waist for gallbladder. Notice if you're relaxed, whether there's still a little bit of tightness and tension in your back. And then we'll hug the knees in before we come into the other side. Let's just kind of reset ourselves.
And then we'll bring our legs now down and then over to the left. Left foot comes over your right ankle for a softer stretch, and then just again being very aware of how far you want to move into this pose with the upper body. If you've got issues, maybe one side needs to be a very soft posture. And then just relaxing your arms. Again, always just look around the pelvis, buttocks, sides of the waist is where we feel tight initially. And if you find that an uncomfortable sensation is building up, even if at first it wasn't there, then please exit the pose or loosen out of the pose. And just noticing where your breath is going, whether it's very shallow in the chest, or whether you naturally bring it down to the belly and then up into the chest. Are your legs relaxed? Are you relaxed around your knees? And how does this feel compared with the other side? Every now and then just check in through your head and your neck, and whether you can soften more through your face. And whether you like this pose. Stimulating the right side, Pingala, our more masculine aspect of ourselves, and linked with the yang energy. Every now and then just scan through, notice if you've tensed up anywhere. And as we use the physical layer of our being to soften with these postures, notice any shifts in the subtle body energy of the chakras and meridians, in the emotional body, your mental layer. Perhaps you notice certain poses, you become more peaceful, or really induce a feeling of joy or contentment. All these things interlinked. So gently, when you're ready, let's just find our way back into neutral spine. And take a moment here. Only really moving a little way to the sides, yet quite a powerful after effect. And just really observing whatever you're feeling. And so we'll gently draw the knees in. Take your time here, one at a time. Support your lower back as you come into a nice rock. And again, if you want to lift your head and stretch more through your back, hugging the knees in a bit more. It's quite nice. And if you want to just sort of have your hands on your knees and take your knees further away, you can just feel it a bit more on the very lower spine. Just rocking the knees more towards you. You're coming up through sacral and lumbar. And then when you're ready, let's roll up. And finally, we're going to come into bench. If, however, you'd like to come into waterfall, I'll give you those two options because I know sometimes maybe one pose is a bit more desired. So waterfall, I know it's some of your favourites. Just wedging that cushion under the buttocks, raising legs. This is wonderful for relieving any fluid in the legs and soft on the heart. But if you want to come into bench, it's yogi's choice. And you can lie back over the cushion. Maybe you could try both and see which one just sort of resonates more with you this evening. Lovely one for your thoracic spine. And you can, if you want to, pull a blanket over you. After this, we will come into relaxation. So enjoy getting a bit more comfortable with this last pose. And soften, relax. Look for anywhere that is just a bit stubborn at holding tightness. Support your neck here if you need to. And then enjoying the breath, whichever pose you've decided to come into. Follow your breath. Lovely way to become very mindful of the moment. And maybe as you follow your breath, notice how many breaths you can take before the mind just starts to wander off on its own. Noticing if there's anywhere else you can relax that you thought was relaxed, but there's still a bit more. Just loosening any tightness around your eyes. Release your jaw. Coming back to your breath. As you breathe, just notice if you're taking full inhales and exhales, or whether it's a very half breath before you inhale and exhale next. Quite often there's always just a little bit of air left in our body. We don't fully exhale. So we'll take one more breath. Very gently coming out of your pose. If you're in waterfall, bending your knees. If you're in bench, then gently lifting up. We'll pull the cushions away and then just lying back down. Noticing the difference. Take as many breaths as you need to really relax through your back. And what do you feel? Where do you feel it? What feels good? What feels nicely relieved? So when you're ready, let's bring our knees in for another hug. And choosing if you want to come to seated or remain lying down with some blankets and cushions. Time to allow yourself to relax. Give yourself permission. And maybe a blanket over the shoulders or over your body. Let's draw a card. Often I take one of these cards at the beginning of a day to see perhaps what message might linger in my mind or what piece of advice might be welcome to shift the energy of my day. But sometimes it's also nice for an evening, so let's just take one without looking. And often we get similar ones. Celeste, we've had this before. But each time it might have a different meaning for you. So I shall read it. I always go with kind of what comes, what's given. So A happy move to a new home or place of employment is in the works. And this may not be a home or employment, just a happy move of something. This movement will usher in positive new energy. Yes, it is time for a move. I am working with your other angels to keep your spirit and energy high during this move. Although it may seem as if moving requires a lot of effort, when you work with me and the other angels, it can actually be a time of great joy. I will help you find a new location, and then I will assist you with the necessary details. I will also help you and your other family members to adjust to the move. Just ask. All I request is your trust. Trust that God and the angels are capable of finding just the right place for you. If you decide on one certain place and it doesn't work out, it's because we are bringing you something that is even better. Expect miracles and don't buy into the illusion of scarcity thinking. We will smooth the way, and we will also help you to meet new people who will illuminate your path. A lovely little message there that we can apply not just to a move, but just to trust that we'll be put in the right place and at the right time wherever we're needed to be. And if things don't work out for us, there is usually something more suited to us on the horizon that we can't see yet. So just have a little while to ponder what that might mean, and how it makes you feel.
just for a few moments longer as you relax. Just follow your breath. Maybe in your mind you'll say in and out. And just having a few more moments to be mindful, following your breath. And as that brings you back into your present moment, just drawing your awareness to how you're feeling. Physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And gently now begin to just move fingers and toes. Gently move whichever position you're in any way that you want to. Perhaps roll your shoulders, either seated or lying down. Rocking head from side to side. And just feeling the movement of your body. Enjoy another deep breath and a long, slow exhalation, feeling the body soften. And then gently in your own time, joining me in a seated position. If you're lying down, take your time, just hug your knees in, rocking slowly, just aware of all the parts that connect with the mat. And as you come to seated, have a moment just to settle the body, root down yet again into Mother Earth, into Gaia, Goddess Gaia, and then we can bring our hands together. Om Shanti, Namaste.